Roots, it's now time to take a look at news stories making headlines around the globe. We begin here at home as we celebrate good ambassadors for Nigeria, men and women, majority of whom rose organically to the very top in their respective callings, a coterie set apart by their shared commitment to excellence. The board of editors of THISDAY group last night unveiled the promising young men and women as winners in the Young Global Leaders category of the group's commemoration awards. Applications for this category were legion, attesting to the nation's growing youth strength, especially those doing well for themselves in different fields of human endeavor. But the THISDAY board of editors pruned the number down to a lucky few, starting with the Queen of Wari Kingdom, Olori Ivie Atunwase III. The other winners in the category include the CEO of the Niger Delta Power Company, Jennifer Adigije, Chairman of Sun newspaper Nea Uzo Kalu, and co-founder and CEO of Paystack Shola Akinlade. Also making the list are CEO of Congo Group Namdi Eke, Executive Vice Chairman and CEO of National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure Naseni Khalil Halilu, CEO of AA&R Investment Abdullahi Bashir Haske, and CEO of Flutterwave Olubenga Agbola. Other winners in the category are co-founder of Flutterwave, Inolua Aboyeji, singer and songwriter Temilade Openiyi, professionally known as Tems, and her colleague Oyinkansola Sarah Adiribibe with the stage name Ira Star. Folake Akindele, founder of Tiffany Amber. The winners, who cut across different walks of life, from tech to music, finance, art, and politics, among others, are established to have distinguished themselves in their chosen fields and by their choices put the country on the world map, particularly in positive contexts. So, of course, we do continue to celebrate those who will be honored by the THISDAY editorial board. Yesterday, we looked at Woman of the Year, Titans of the Year. We've also looked at Man of the Year. Global Young Leaders.
Okay, look, since about 1977, Nigerian leaders have been saying the youths of today are the leaders of tomorrow, and that even gained more resonance, even during military rule when President Babangida was leader of Nigeria. There's always been, from the International Year of the Youth, or to, other leaders taking over in Nigeria, emphasis on the youth of Nigeria. And I think that it's important that there is a special category that has been created for young people who are making an impact in the world. Now, those persons who have been nominated, if you look at the list, you will say that, look, most of them are young people of Nigeria who decided to think out of the box, innovative young men and women who have done very well across the spectrum, whether it is payment system, fintech, they call it, or it's sports, or it is music, and that diversity is something that you should note in the first place. The second thing, of course, is that these are young people who inspire others to the extent that they are not people who are looking for white-collar jobs. These are mostly persons thinking out of the box, who have used their talents, their genius, their innovativeness to create opportunities, not just for themselves, but even others of their generation. Now, if you look at them in terms of individual terms, I'll just look at a few of them. Take Tems and Ira Star. I mean, these are young musicians who have done very well in the world of music. Other teams, whining a waist and, swinging a waist in, a very remarkable manner. Or it is teams whom I once described as always presenting herself when she's standing as if she's an equivalent of the Tower of Pisa. Although when it comes to music, she's a good performer. She enjoys what she does, as young as she is. And she's been able to fall into the category of those African stars, not just Nigerian, doing very well on the global stage. Take Folake Akindele, Tiffany Amber, fashion. We have, many women in the fashion scene in Nigeria but she stands out with her efforts. So recognizing her, I think, is in order. There are others like her. There's Banke Kuku, there are so many others within that space. But fashion is also, an area in which you find people who have distinguished themselves. As for fintech, Paystack, Shola Akinlade, and then Flutterwave, Inyola Aboyeji. I think we've interviewed Inyola Aboyeji here once upon a time. Yeah, I think in the last year we still interviewed him. And then of course you have who else is there? Neye Uzo Kalu. Now she's chairman of the Sun newspaper. Now in that regard, the thing to note, one of the major missing points about Nigeria entrepreneurs is about succession planning. Now, the young lady, it's not as if she's experienced in journalism and all that, but you can see Senator Uzo Kalu, the father, already planning for the future. And there are parents like that who position their daughters or their sons to learn. And since this young lady took over as chairman of the Sun, she has been running the operation in an impressive manner. There were persons who said, oh, why would Senator Uzo Kalu bring his daughter to come and be in charge of the company? Okay, will he go and bring another person's daughter? So this is the thing in terms of succession planning. And I think our example, our success with the Sun newspapers, there's also New Telegraph. The father is also the publisher of New Telegraph, exposing the younger generation early on, testing them, giving them opportunities, I think is something that is very important. Now, the CEO of the Niger Delta Power Company, well, I've seen her in the social media, visiting locations and all of that. But Niger Delta Power Holding Company is one of the government projects. If anybody can make any meaning out of, the moribund assets in the electricity sector, electricity supply value chain, I think such a person needs to be encouraged. So what I see in terms of what, there's also a young man there, Konga, the man in charge of Konga. He has also, I think he's also on the list, and Konga is well established, as a company that is doing something innovative. The Konga man also is one of these next generation people who fall into the succession bracket and who have put their stamp. They are not staying in the shadow of some rich father or, they express themselves. So in terms of the values that are projected, in terms of the choices that have been made, in terms of the inspirational, context of these examples of these young men doing wonderful things, I think that, they are to be encouraged, and it's not a bad thing that THISDAY newspaper is encouraging them. In my view, that is.
Absolutely. You've aptly analyzed and summarized why it's important for us to continue to encourage our young people. Of course, we know that Africa is a young continent with a larger population on the continent, constitution of young people. So it's great to see these outstanding individuals take the mantle, take it in their strides to lead and to grow into the leaders of tomorrow. So, and a fantastic lineup which is diverse across a number of sectors and so many exciting personalities there. Of course, one quickly jumps at Thames and Ira Star, of course, who are continuously raising the flag internationally. We know the impact that entertainment, specifically music, has made, especially on brand Nigeria globally, and ensuring that Nigerian culture is exported to the rest of the world. So always important to acknowledge the musicians and the ambassadors in the musical space who ensure that Nigeria is represented at a cultural level. Now, of course, for me, charity begins at home. I see my brother-in-law is on that list. That's Senator Asuku Ekpeyong, who is currently the youngest senator in the National Assembly, and his career didn't start in the National Assembly. He's somebody who has always strived to be outstanding in whatever field he chose to perform. He was also one of the youngest commissioners to ever be appointed when he worked in Cross River State, first for Marine Commission and then as a commissioner for finance as well as holding a number of other private corporate positions with various entities. So somebody who's worked doggedly through the system and tried to always maintain what he calls the standard in all that he does. So great to see him on it there. Like I said, charity begins at home. But now to a woman who is doing phenomenal, not just in empowering other women, in empowering young people as well, and reshaping what we know to be royalty here in Nigeria. Of course, that's Olori Ivie Atuwashe III, the Queen of Wari Kingdom. Who we've seen add a cosmopolitan flair to the throne. We've seen her hold a number of events, a number of seminars and so forth, where important discussions, conversations are had about nation building, about the role of women, and not just in a Nigerian context, in a Pan-African context as well. She's committed and passionate about that. And for that, we say thank you and, of course, honor her and celebrate her. And then another name that stood out to me was Tunde Onakoya, who is, of course, the founder of Chess in Slums Africa. He made headlines last year when he decided to break the Guinness Book of World Records by playing the longest chess games in New York. I believe it was Times Square in New York where he did that. I mean, phenomenal for me because as a chess player, I know that is chess a game or a sport or chess is a highly intellectual practice. It's something very skilled. And, some people might say, why teach young people chess? But chess ultimately is the skill of strategic thinking. So the fact that he is taking this to the slums, to the most underprivileged places on the African continent, I think is such a fantastic initiative and such an innovative way as well to uplift young people. And I'll close my own notable mentions with the Iyi Aboyeji. I mean, it's no small feat to be co-founder of a company that's valued at $1.5 billion. That's Ndela. Another company, Flutterwave, that's valued at $3 billion, and he's now moved on to Future Africa, where he's now spread his wings beyond investing in Nigeria to investing across the African continent with a focus on the tech space. And, to all of our fintech, those who represent fintech on this list, we see how much it has revolutionized banking and financial inclusion here in Nigeria. Because especially if you look at the situation now, we all know that without companies like, as much as they are not on the list, but I believe in future editions they will be. Fintech, you look at your money points and your OPAs and so forth, and you would know that without these companies right now, it would be tough for us to even access cash. They provided solutions for us at a time where we were in great need. So in light of this, that's why it's important to celebrate where the fintech journey started here in Nigeria with the likes of Flutterwave and Paystack, because they have opened the way for so many others who have come in and started doing incredible things and also made a very tangible impact on the life of Nigerians in both high places and in normal places. So that is the list of our young global leaders. Of course, a commemorative event will take place later in this month. And we continue to celebrate those who are doing iconic things, who are setting the pace here in Nigeria and beyond. And of course, those who are choosing to be leaders and to portray Nigeria in a positive light.